On this edition of the program, some retirements from Congress. We get a look at some of the ads that are being run for the yes or no on 50 battle in California. And we got an interview with a politician live in studio. He is a Democratic candidate that is looking to unseat Greg Casar here in Austin, Texas. We talk about why he's running, what he believes the Democratic Party needs, and much more. It's a good time. Good chat. It's all coming up.
The following is brought to you by Just Another Pilot.
Everybody to the Politics program for September 3rd, 2025. Your old pal, Justin Robert Young, joining you here in Austin, Texas. The summer, for all intents and purposes, is done. It is over. We are into the rush of fall that leads right up to the holiday season, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then we re-rack for the midterms. But we got a lot of time between now and then, and we're going to spend some of it with our new friend, Dillon Fleharty. I guess technically we're not friends. We're not allowed to be friends because I'm interviewing him, but that is the case. I sat down with Dillon for about an hour and a half here on the show. So that's going to be the bulk of the episode. But I think you guys are going to like it. I will state up top that Dillon came to the show by way of a mutual friend. And we started just chopping it up, talking. And he had enough of an interesting story that I was like, you want to know what? Come on the show. There's good content to be had here. However, we are not endorsing Dillon. If incumbent Greg Casar would like to be on the program, I am indeed a citizen in his district. He is more than welcome to come on, but I suspect what this will be is probably just an opportunity for his campaign to learn more about somebody that is going to be going pretty hard at him in this primary. In the update, we're going to talk about some yes on 50 ads, some retirements, and more. But first, here's Dillon. It is my honor to welcome to the program a man who seeks to be my next congressman. He is running against a very entrenched force, and he's got a really great story to tell. Joining us in studio, Dillon Fleharty. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you? Yeah, good.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for coming on down to South Austin to be here. That you are not only, I don't really like to have politicians on the show in general because I kind of know what they are going to say, and the questions that I would like to ask them, they usually won't answer because it's true, and it's not doesn't feed into things. But you're early enough in the process that I feel like it's going to go well. Thank you for coming on, and also the first politician to have to be in studio.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, Dillon. Give us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into your journey for this race now.
So to kind of I have like a non-linear track in life. So I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, moved out here as a teenager, went to high school, college, ended up traveling overseas quite a bit, worked as a photographer, ended up in New York, worked for Casey Neistat. Like prime Casey Neistat, like 2015. Was like,
which for folks who are not aware, like Casey Neistat is one of the biggest YouTube accounts there is.
Yeah,
bar none?
yeah. He's
like an all-time ranking.
He's a juggernaut. In that space.
Technology, culture, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I worked for him for a while, and then I fell backwards into real estate. It's a weird, complicated story. Came back to Texas. Through this entire process, I had cancer. I got sober, and me and my wife had our son, and we were just like, we need to change what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we moved back to Texas, went back to school, got a degree in computer science.
Okay.
Did that.
At what age? What age did you?
38. I finished it.
38. You finished your computer science degree.
Yeah, I finished my computer science degree 38.
That's pretty crazy.
Did it in 3 years.
Did you have any background in coding or anything like that?
Not a bit.
Not at all.
Not at all.
What made you want to do that?
I just wanted to change everything that I was doing, like every single little bit. Like I always had this like Venn diagram of like sober Dillon and drunk Dillon.
Yeah.
And like the intersection of the two of those was still like my career, like working in various fields, whether that was as a photographer or working in real estate. It was like, there was always a reason to drink. There was always like something kind of there. So that intersection, I was like, I got to break this intersection up. Like I got to like break up this Venn diagram. And someone had suggested like doing a coding boot camp.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it like, I'm going to go all the way.
All the way.
And so begrudgingly to my family, I went back to school, commuted an hour each way every day.
Where'd you go?
Texas State.
Okay.
And then I completed that degree, got a job working in tech. And then last year, the election happened. And now I am where I am. That's a whole story that we can talk about.
We will get into that. I want to stop there on the sobriety side for a second. You mentioned booze. Was that the
I was
what
like,
got you in there? Or was it a mix of a bunch of stuff?
I was like your classic alcoholic.
Okay.
So I say this very openly because it wasn't like I wasn't like dumpster diving for donuts or like drugs or booze. It was just like, I just drank all the time. Yeah. Like it was like every day it was like, oh, we closed the deal. Let's go for drinks. Yeah. We didn't get that deal. I need a drink.
Got a drink.
It's nice outside. Let's go get some wine.
There we go.
Right? It's cold outside. Let's have some whiskey.
Yeah.
It was just like every day. It was just like, and then I was like waking up every day just feeling worse and worse and worse. And the way it ended up happening is I decided to go 21 days without, I was like, I'm gonna take 21 days. I'm gonna like go to the gym.
Like sober January?
Yeah, like I'm gonna do, this was like in the middle of the summer, but I was like, yeah, what? I'm just gonna take 21 days and I'm gonna be fine. Didn't take very long and I found myself in the hospital.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I ended up having like heart palpitations, tremors, like was hallucinating.
From just the withdrawal?
Yeah. Strictly from withdrawals.
Wow.
Yeah. Like very real.
So then that's like, all right. So that's like, I almost feel like you're underselling it on the idea of like, oh, there's always a reason. Like if you're having withdrawals like that, then that's like,
oh yeah, no,
that's like, like you gotta like, hey, I gotta have a breakfast beer to get going,
so it was like, I didn't drink in the morning, but I drank every afternoon.
Okay.
Like every afternoon, every day.
I'll tell you what, that's discipline. That's a gentleman.
It was
even in the grind. If you're like, hey, I gotta wait till noon.
Well, I always feel like shit in the morning, right? So I'd have to like eat like a handful of ibuprofen.
Yep.
And then like make it through my day at work.
Yeah.
And then at the end of work, you're tired or you're whatever, and then you're worn out and you're just like, well, let's go. There's always a reason to drink in my world. Yeah. And it was like, just always that. And I never thought that I had a problem. Like I was never like, oh, this is inherently bad. Yeah. I knew I was like, maybe 90 drinks a week isn't like the best. Yeah. My doctor was like, you gotta stop drinking. And I was like, yeah. And then when I got sober and I landed in the hospital, that's when I was like,
that's a wild story. I mean, I can't imagine being in a situation where you just think you're doing a sober October or a sober January. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm in the hospital because.
Oh, like very literally like EMS having to come and get me on my apartment floor. My heart rate's like 170 beats a minute, like shaking. Throwing up everywhere, like climbing, like literally like climbing the ceiling kind of a thing. No, it was like really bad. And then my mind, like what was weird is I always thought like, I always had like a lot of like anxiety, like just normal like stress, anxiety. I was like always kind of worried about things. And I remember thinking when I stop drinking, all of that will get better.
Oh yeah, that's.
And
a
then
lie.
I stopped
Yeah.
drinking, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
No. That got way worse. Like it went like way over the top.
The anxiety.
Oh yeah, I was like freaking out. I was having panic attacks. We lived in this apartment at the time. I was in this walk up in Manhattan, and like I can remember just like I had this like 300 square foot apartment, and I would just like pace back and forth.
This is how long after getting sober?
Like a month, maybe.
Did you do a program or?
So my boss,
Yeah,
totally saw what was going on.
Okay.
And he was like, he came up to me and he was like, "You need to go to an AA meeting."
Okay.
And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And he just told me, he was like, "I'm a member.
Yeah.
You're gonna go with me.
Yeah.
Like, just come with me.
Just go to a meeting.
Just go to a meeting.
Yeah.
Sit there.
Do the Stations of the Cross. And,
He was just like, just come and sit with me."
Yeah.
And he had been sober for like 22 years at that point.
Gotcha.
And I went, and I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, like, and this is no plug for AA. It was just like, oh, these people are similar to me.
Yeah.
Like everyone in this room is like, they all have like a similar story.
Yeah.
Some are other, like, some were like, cocaine was also their food of choice.
Yeah.
Others were like, I was just a classic alcoholic, or I had this problem, I had that problem. But all of them had one underlying thing. And that was like, they just felt like they weren't okay. And they felt like it wasn't normal to not feel okay.
Yeah.
And so then when I went through that process, I was like, oh, it's normal to not have good days. It's normal to not feel okay. It's normal to like, we like, not everyone is great all the time.
It's really hard in social businesses too.
Oh yeah, especially like
Because-
relationship businesses where you're constantly going out, you're entertaining, you're going to happy hours, you're going to dinners, and then it just makes it easier because you're just like,
Well, and it's just a societal thing.
oh yeah,
Like it's almost like a little bit of a like spit on your hand, like trust ritual to like get drunk with somebody when you're getting to know them.
I can't tell you how many. So you could tell me, like you probably will get this. You could tell anybody that you're a vegan or that you're gluten-free or you don't like meat or you don't like this or you don't like mayonnaise. No one's going to ask you if you're okay.
Yeah.
But the moment you're like, oh, I don't drink.
What?
What? Is everything?
What? Why?
Why?
Huh?
Why? Is something
How?
wrong?
Why?
Like,
Yeah.
Why? Shortly after I got sober, I was like, I started getting better and I was going to meetings. I was going through this 12-step program.
And I think also it's so much easier now. I think now is probably, and I mean like 2025 as I speak in September, especially in a place like this where it's like, if you still, get high, like there's like THC drinks if you want to feel different, right? But beyond that, there's so much non-alcoholic stuff that looks exactly like an alcoholic thing that you can just ask a bartender, like, hey, pour a Heineken Zero or pour something that actually tastes good into a glass and it will just look like a beer to anybody. You never have to deal with those questions. You never have to be in those situations. Like it is a totally different world for people getting sober now than I think it ever was before, where it was just, you had to kind of wear a I'm sober t-shirt.
Yeah, it was like a scarlet letter almost, right? Like, and you're like, oh, I'm sober. Sorry, I'm going to be a buzzkill.
Because it's not even like you're going to change careers where it's like, oh, like I'm going to go to a field where I'm not meeting with people and, doing these kinds of things.
Yeah. One thing that was interesting is like, so after I got sober, I started running into people like in the city that I would see at AA meetings, and we would just give each other like a nod.
Oh, nice.
So it was like this,
like a little like Fight Club. Like a secret
exactly.
society
That was the
thing.
analogy that I did. Is like, so we'd like wink at each other.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a nice, like you're like walking down like Fifth Avenue and you're like, oh, hey, like what's that? I'm like, yeah, I got you. And like, so that was that. And that like made you feel like you're a part of something. Again, this isn't like, I'm not trying to plug AA. It was just something that worked for me in a sense of like, oh, I found like a community of people that were like-minded. They like,
I think people get so hung up on that kind of stuff where it's like, I mean, I've had addiction in my family. My dad was an alcoholic. My stepdad was, a problem gambler, and it's just whatever works for everybody's brain is different. Everybody's situation in life is different. Like if AA works for you, it works for you. Some people get hung up on the religious stuff where, or like the rigidity of it and they want to go through other stuff. That's fine. Whatever works, I think is what works ultimately.
Someone told me about the religious thing. My sponsor, he used this analogy of like a dog going into a building and riding an elevator to the top of the building.
Yeah.
The dog knows that it got to the top of the building, but it doesn't know how it got there. And he was like, the elevator doesn't mean anything to the dog. Just treat religion like that. If you're not religious, just get on the thing and just ride it, and you get to the top and you're sober and you're happy. Who cares? Like, don't let it get in your way.
Yeah.
And he was always like, if you're not religious, like, don't let that stop you.
Yeah, I think, you could put whatever spin on it that you want. It's like, decentering yourself, or, it's all the stuff that people say happens when you're on ayahuasca, but it's, doing it the old fashioned way.
What I have found since being sober is I can identify very quickly who people I think are addicts. And what I mean by that is, so I had throat cancer 6 months after I got sober.
Oh, geez.
Totally unrelated. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So went through that. I was very lucky. We caught it early.
That's great.
Had surgery, went through the whole bit. My wife was pregnant at the time. That was like a whole.
That's a time.
There was a lot of stress. And then, but now when I tell people like, oh, I don't drink because I had throat cancer, they say, well, you can have a few drinks. Right? Like, it's not that, like, really, is it that bad?
Yeah.
Like, that's when I'm like, oh, you, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's some people that, and let me just, I'm somebody who likes to drink. I have my friends I like to drink with. Like, guys, I'll do a PSA to camera. If you like to drink, don't be that guy. Do not be the everybody has to drink guy. It's a bad look. I
love it. I love people drinking. I always tell people, like, don't not drink because I'm in the room.
Yeah.
Like, just because I was an asshole doesn't mean that you should be.
Well, and all the times that I've been sober around drunk people, it's like a really great time through round 3.
Yeah.
Past round 3, you gotta tap out a little bit because you're just not, it's like trying to catch up on somebody who's on season 6 of an anime or something like that. Like, you just have no idea what's happening. But like through the first 3, everyone's gregarious. Nice. There's a lot of backslapping. There's a lot of, hey, remember when's? Like it's a good time even if you're sober.
Yeah, and so that's that.
Sorry, this is an Austin podcast requirement.
I like to anybody. I don't know if anyone's I don't know which camera to look at.
Yeah,
if you like
there.
to drink, I support it. I don't advocate for not drinking. It's just not the best for me.
It's because of the story we just told.
It's not the best for me. It's not the best for a lot of people, but that's
So you grew up here.
Mostly
bounced around. You have a pretty colorful geographic history.
I've lived in a lot of places.
Give us the elevator pitch list here.
Australia, New Zealand, Thailand. Me and my wife spent some time in East Africa, Nairobi, New York City, here, back. Like, it's been this kind of like back and forth. The majority of my time has been in Austin though.
Yeah.
And when I was in New York, that was like a really good time. I felt like I cut my teeth on a lot of things there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like living internationally was great. Like, experiencing different cultures, experiencing different ways of life.
Yeah.
The number one takeaway that I always had was just because something is done one way doesn't mean it can't be done another. And it doesn't make either way better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be worse.
Sometimes it's worse.
Or better.
Yeah. But sometimes it's just like, oh, there's like a different process.
I think that's another thing. It's kind of similar to the to the drinking thing, where it's like, I think people get so hung up on solutions, especially in government, that it's like every society is different. Every culture is different. Like, there's going to be solutions that work really, really good in high trust society that has a very homogenous culture. There's going to be other solutions that don't work. If you don't really trust the government, then maybe doing a thing that requires you trusting the government isn't going to be as great. Doesn't make anything. I don't know. I tend to be of the belief that people get so hung up on like blueprints that they stop talking about buildings. Like,
no, I think that's a good way to look at it. And I think,
but traveling internationally is a great example of that.
Yeah, when you live there and you're like, oh, like, I'm trying to think of like a good example. Like, one example that always caught me off guard is when I moved to Australia the first time. I went to this, I think it was like an Aldi's, and all the eggs were just out. They weren't refrigerated.
Okay.
And I was like, what is going on here?
They're spoiling all these eggs.
And someone told me, they were like, the eggs don't come out of the chicken cold.
Yeah.
And like, I guess there's probably some rationale for this. I haven't investigated why eggs are the way they are, why they're refrigerated. But I remember thinking like, oh, okay, like this is different, but it's fine. I ate the eggs. It was fine.
It was okay. Yeah.
It was okay. Just a lot of like the way in which things operated, I found. Again, not to make one thing better or worse. It was just that that I was in my early 20s and I was always told that like there's one way to do things. That's the only way to do things. And then getting out of that rigidity, I was like, oh, this is illuminating. And I found that it doesn't matter, especially like living in Thailand, spending time in East Africa. Everyone is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like wherever you go, it doesn't matter. There's traffic in the morning.
Yep.
There's traffic in the evening.
Yep.
Everyone has a lot of people have families, and their overarching goal in life is to provide their family just a little bit more than they had.
Yeah.
And it's never like this idea of like, oh, we're striving to be, billionaires, or we're striving to be these titans of industry. I think 99% of the human race is just like, we just want to live a peaceful life.
Yeah.
Like go to work, come home, enjoy time with our kids, go fishing, come home.
Yeah.
And that was like my biggest takeaway from my time overseas.
Yeah. I think it does give you a ton of perspective. Which brings us to our story, which is why you are here.
Yeah.
Politically, what's your origin story? How long have you been, how long would you consider yourself to be politically active?
I've been politically active since I was in college the first time. So I canvassed for George Bush when he ran against John Kerry.
Okay.
So when he ran against John Kerry, I canvassed for George Bush. I was very much, I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and I definitely fell into the camp of like, preemptive strikes. Let's, America World Police.
Yeah.
And
this one is, by the way, this is my in-kind contribution to Kesar's Oppo file. Just having you talk about canvassing for George W. Bush.
Well, I think it's one of these things where it's like
it makes sense.
I didn't know any better. And I didn't know what was happening. I was just doing what I was told.
Yeah.
Right. It was like,
you come from a conservative
I come from a conservative household. All my friends were conservative growing up. Everyone was conservative around me, right? Southern Baptist family. Yeah. It was very conservative. And so I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I never understood what Democrats were. I never had an idea of like what the other side of the aisle even thought about. Yeah. And I can remember a conversation one time with somebody, and it was after Bush had beat Kerry. And I said, what do the Democrats actually stand for? And they're like, oh, well, they're more for like social services and helping like other communities. And the Republicans want to lower your taxes. And I remember that was like an oversimplification of what happens. But I was like, oh. And that was like the beginning of the like.
They're not godless demons that want to ruin society.
Yeah. And it was like, that was like the thread that started to unravel the sweater. Yeah. And so then when I got overseas and I was like trying to work as a photographer and trying to cover other stories, it became this like, I saw the consequences of conservative policies that affected people negatively. Like invading Iraq caused for it's the direct cause for ISIS. Yes. And then we were trying to pitch a story to get into Syria. This is in 2014, I think. We were trying to get into Syria to do a story on how people were like making bread. Because bread, like in Aleppo at the time, like bread was like the number one staple. And we were trying to like figure a way to like create a story to get into Aleppo. And we were told that a lot of journalists and a lot of outlets weren't sending journalists in because it was too expensive. The cost wasn't there. And they could just send iPhones to teenagers, pay them $100 a photo. And then that was it.
Who were you working for at the time?
Myself.
You were just independent.
We were just trying to pitch stories to anyone and everyone we possibly could. And it was just like this, like we were just throwing at the wall. Yeah.
That's another crazy business. Like the independent war journalists, correspondents, photographers. Like that's a crazy world.
We tried to do it. I was never like able to get into any conflict zones, and thankfully not, like in hindsight, because I think that takes a very specific personality.
in my experience, having known some of them, like it is a personality type. Like you are just born different. That person. And I don't know if people really understand how much it colors the coverage. Like, cause it's a very cavalier, like thing. It's a very cavalier job to have. Like
Yes.
you have to be a certain kind of person to want to say, I want to do it, which, you know, and this is another, finally, I've hijacked the conversation to talk about journalism, but like, that's if people in general don't know the kind of personality that it takes to just be a journalist, to go and want to make awkward phone calls, like,
Oh yeah.
put that up by 11 to be like, oh, I want to talk to somebody who more so than covering city council might kill me. Like,
very literally. Yeah. So when we were in Nairobi, like we met some people that were like, one of them, his job was, so when pirates take on the Horn of Africa, right?
Yep.
At the time, there was a lot of like shipping containers or shipping vessels that were being hijacked by Somali pirates, and they make money.
Yeah.
Exchanges do occur.
Yeah.
It's not always what's the movie with
Captain Phillips.
It's not always that story.
Where they dispatch elite killers to murder a couple teenagers because some fat dude up at his job.
Yeah. No, so it is sometimes there are exchanges that occur.
Yeah.
And we got to know an individual that was his job, was to physically hand money
to pirates.
Yeah. And take people in exchange.
Yeah.
And
to be a facilitator between.
Yeah.
A trusted waypoint.
I mean, someone else negotiated this deal, but then he was like the muscle that went and would do this. We asked him one night on drinks, we were like, what happens if something goes wrong? And he was like, we just eliminate them.
Yeah.
And it was the most cold, like matter of fact. And then like, oh, look at that thing over there.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It takes a certain personality where you can sit in those conversations and think like, what did he
because the world is very, very different. It is a different place when you are in those kinds of.
Yeah. And like, what did he just tell us?
Yeah.
And it was very like, he wasn't trying to brag. It was just like, this is what we do.
Whenever, and obviously we have a couple hot wars that people are paying very, very close attention to, and rightfully so when you look at it from our position, which is extraordinarily privileged and very, very rich comparatively to the rest of the world. And you look at this horrifying violence and you're like, wow, oh my God, how can a world exist where this kind of brutality happens? And if you pay attention to these things longer than when they are very much on the national radar here, you kind of realize like, look, some of these places are pretty rough. These are rough areas. Like there's a way of life that is just foreign to our soft hands. Our soft college educated hands.
I mean, you get out into like South Sudan, Central African Republic.
It's a different world, dude.
You get into like northeastern like Congo, like you get like west of Rwanda, and like it gets like, I mean, in Rwanda is mostly fine, but when you cross over into what is now the Congo, or formerly was it Zaire? It gets.
I once had a conversation with an old job that I had to show you what a parody America is in terms of the jobs available. I used to do scavenger hunts for corporate entertainment.
Yeah,
and we did a Coca-Cola one. And it turns out that the division of Coca-Cola that we were doing it for in Atlanta was this charity that I'd actually read up on before. I had read a story about him, but it was cool to meet him in person. That was a clean water charity, and realized that it was better for them to be wholly owned by Coca-Cola, because if they just showed up to like a, for all intents and purposes, warlord controlled area, and they just say, hey, I want to drink, dig a well so all your people have fresh water, they would say, get away, we'll kill you. If you say, I'm here to bring the Coca-Cola, also while I'm here, I would like to dig a well, they'll be like, cool, but you're bringing the Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's when you think about the real politic element of stuff like that, it's just it's crazy. Like that, this is a world that, again, it's like the idea of control is so tight that like somebody coming in with the purest intentions, it's like, no, we will kill you if you walk across this boundary.
What is interesting too there is like the transparency in which you operate with people is so clear.
Yeah.
And like, that's like a weird way to kind of phrase that, is like, I always felt like when we were overseas, we always knew where we stood.
Yeah.
Because it was very much like, if you do this thing, if you cross this road, we will kill you.
Yeah.
If you do this, we have assault rifles. this is the outcome.
That's it.
And then and here in the United States, you go to like a nice cocktail party, everyone's smiling at you, and you're like, who's going to stab me in the back?
I know. Like, who's going to look up my Instagram and think I'm awkward? Like, those are the worries.
And then there you're just like, it's very like matter of fact. Like, this is what it is.
So you are politically active. You come from a conservative family. You have this awakening, especially as you travel overseas. But you found yourself thinking a sort of way.
I found myself really valuing like my neighbors is the best way I can phrase that. Is like, we are stronger as a community than we are as individuals.
Yeah.
And like, we need to be looking out for each other. And so I really found myself aligning with like, I'm careful to say like, I hate to paint myself in any kind of ideological framework. But like social safety nets are incredibly important to me, especially here because we can afford them. Like, there's no reason that my parents who have paid
here is in America.
In the United States. Right. So like my parents have been paying into Social Security for 50 years. Mm-hmm. There's no reason they should get that money back. Yeah. Like that shouldn't be a concern. Yeah. Like we have that money. We have the ability to disperse that money. That should never be of worry to them. I'm also a vehement advocate for expanding healthcare because I don't think that your healthcare should be dictated on your income bracket. Yeah. Right. I was incredibly fortunate because my wife worked for a hospital group in New York. And so when I had my cancer, I went to 5 different doctors before they found it. Yeah. I was told I had allergies. Wow. I was told to go home. I was coughing up and spitting up blood and everyone just told me, go home, go home, go home. And I just kept being my own advocate because I was like, this can't be.
Something's weird.
Something's weird. This isn't right. And then finally I saw an ENT and they put a scope in my throat and right away they found a tumor. And if I had been having to pay for every doctor's visit, every specialist that I saw, because I saw like a gastroenterologist, I went to the emergency room one time, urgent care, a bunch of stuff. I would have undoubtedly rationalized myself out of seeking further care. Yeah. I would have been like, you know what? They're right. I probably just have allergies. This is expensive. It was $200 this last time. I can't afford another $200. We'll wait till next month. And then all of a sudden,
now it's further down the road.
Now it's further down the road. You're 6 months later. And now is that tumor, has that spread to your lymph nodes? Is it in your lungs? Is my story completely different? And I don't think that people's storylines should be altered because their insurance is too high or because United Healthcare decided to deny their claim for whatever reason. I also think that we need to have like open conversations about like just a myriad of things. I feel like either side of the aisle just gets so entrenched in whatever it may be on that given day. And I've just like politically, I found myself just like kind of frustrated with a lot of it. Yeah. And then like, I'm like an advocate for social safety nets. I'm also an advocate for healthcare in general is like one of my biggest sticking points because especially with like the abortion ban in Texas, what a fucking load of shit. Because like if someone is raped at the age of 13, are they now are they the predator or are they like, how does the state treat them? And like that to me is inherently evil. And I think that we need to have like better policy, better access to care, and like, I feel like the Republicans have been able to control that narrative and
the abortion.
Yeah. Narrative? I feel like they've like in Texas in particular, because they go on these rants about like how Democrats have like, you know, they're aborting fetuses after pregnancy. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not like, that's objectively not true. Yeah. But then the Democrats, I mean, they're fighting the good fight on that one. That one's a hard one.
I've been very frustrated. This is something I've said on the show a lot that like, I feel like the Democrats have kind of abandoned the abortion conversation past this election. And it really blows my mind like that. Yeah. We're this far into a Trump administration where from my vantage point, just looking at the battlefield, I'm like, every time that a Democrat says the word abortion or pro-choice, they are looked at more favorably by the people that actually vote for them. And it makes Republicans uncomfortable, especially in this new coalition that the Republicans are building that is more liberal. That's like the one thing that a lot of these voters that came on with Trump are like not on board with. There's a reason why he had to try to, that he moderated on that issue during the election, was because he knows that he can't take the pro life side that existed on the Republican side for the last 50 years. And it's like, that it is exploitable. It is a hugely exploitable issue. The one thing that you have to do is say Roe is gone. We need a plan that doesn't rely on us magically getting 60 seats in the Senate and getting control of the House. The House is easier, but the Senate's going to be a bear, and it's going to be really, really hard if going forward. Like, especially if you can't compete here, and you can't compete in Florida, and you can't compete in Ohio. Like right now, the Democratic Party is punching above its weight in the Senate because it's got 2 senators in Arizona and 2 senators in Georgia that there are no guarantees that those are 2 of the most incompetently run Republican parties in the country. And at some point they won't be as dumb. Like, you're gonna lose one
of those seats
or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like you have to be competitive in states where you are more of it. And so it's like, that's really, really bothering me that nobody, and maybe we'll see it, I mean, with the presidential election, but nobody's talking about like, what is the Democratic plan for women's health past
whatever it may be.
Like, because Roe's gone. It's done. It's over. Like that was 22. We're in 25 now. Like, it's going to be another 3 years before another presidential election. Like, that's a crazy amount of time to let your number one issue just go dormant.
I will say this, maybe to the Republicans' delight. It is my number one issue.
Yeah.
Because I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I look at her, and this is part of what made me want to run. Is after the election, I was like, how are we losing? Why are we losing? And I started showing up. I started like going to town halls. I started going to like some community events, and I saw the people that were running it. And I was like, these are the people that are meant to protect my daughter's rights.
Yeah.
And they are up. Like,
so this was like, you looked at the staff, at the party, at the candidates,
all of it, the whole apparatus.
Yeah.
And this isn't to disparage any one person.
Yeah.
But like, it is difficult to be a Democrat. Like, the party, the people in the party,
and so you are talking about the Texas Democrats, right?
Texas now. Democrats. And I think even nationally, right? There's this like, they're hijacked by certain factions within their party.
The groups?
The various groups. And they can go in either direction, right? Like, it's like the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other, but then nothing gets done. And then, I went and I started showing up, and I was like, these are the people that are supposed to be protecting my daughter's rights.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be fighting back against Greg Abbott. And they're so incredibly disorganized.
Yeah.
And they have no plan. They have no real comprehensive. They like to fundraise and say that Trump is afraid of us and Abbott is afraid of us, so send us $5.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't give a shit about them.
I mean, they just ran over them.
Like, literally.
They just literally ran over them like roadkill. And they went to New York and Illinois because the best way for them to fight back against Greg Abbott was to be props for Kathy Hochul and J.B. Pritzker, of all people.
I think there's a lot of frustration there, in a sense too, that most of them made it 12 days.
Yeah.
Or 14 days. And I get it. It's tough. Like, what they were doing is incredibly tough. And like, I stand with all of them that did it.
Oh man. Yeah. No, it's very tough to sit in those Marriott lobby bars. And,
I mean,
another round. This is really tough. That guys, we're really fighting the good fight. Sorry. I don't want to crap on it. You have to run to this party, but like,
no.
I was just, because, and this, I've said it on the show, the fact that they weren't out, because I live in this neighborhood. Like, this is a liberal area that has been at one time Chip Roy's district. Now it's going to be the Greg Kazar, the one that you're running for. Like, there are neighborhoods around here that, like, Sunset Valley, I think, is still going to be in the Mark Teixeira district. Because he's running go there. They're the same people. Like, go talk to them, go register them, go activate them. Because Texas Democrats were pissed off. Like the liberal areas were ready and they were like fired up. And the only thing that they had to do was please donate to Beto's super PAC. Like that, which is like, I don't know.
I think there's some real frustration there. And I think there's some legitimate frustration because it's like, so this is anecdotal. And one thing I heard consistently from a lot of people that I know that are liberals is it felt like they're yelling at us that democracy's on the ballot.
Yeah.
They're yelling at us that fascists are marching down the street, that Hitler is in office.
Yes.
And they make it 2 weeks. And why didn't they just stay? Like, just stay away or find other avenues to fight. But like, they're telling us one thing and then their actions kind of speak differently.
Because it's like,
but I support, I get it. I'm sure I don't know the inner dynamics that occurred there. So I can't speak for
all I know is that since I've lived here, they've done it twice. They made it about the same amount of time, both times where they left to deny a quorum and then they come back because it's like, what else are you going to do? You're not going to spike your entire political career. Like you're going to eventually come back. So from my perspective, and this is just me looking at it from an X's and O's point of view, what do you want out of this? Do you want money? And if you do want money, where do you want the money to go? The lion's share of the money that came out of this went to a super PAC that is controlled by somebody that is nominally in the party, but doesn't hold an office and can decide when and how and if he's going to put that in there. But by and large, he probably is going to look at more national things than he is going to be Texas things. So where's the money going to go? And then B, like, are you registering voters? Like the blocking and tackling of elections is what is your available voter base? How are you expanding the pie? How are you getting people on a list so they can know when they can volunteer, when they can vote, like getting them in dialed in. And that's what I didn't see any of it. This was all just this like, this Instagram activism, and I was not a fan. Boo.
Well, so it's difficult. I appreciate your frustration. I think it's warranted. I don't know the inner workings of some of the representatives that had to come back. I'm sure there were some challenging situations. Overwhelmingly, though, I think that the Republicans won on that. They won the messaging, they won the war, they won the redistricting, and we're betting on a lawsuit that
isn't going to happen. It's done. It's over. It's dusted. I mean, like the problem was you have a supermajority and you are the opposition party. That's the problem. Like it was lost before it started because that's what happens when you don't play on a large enough battlefield, when you are not winning seats to affect this kind of change.
And the problem is I don't see them taking the actions to win back those seats. And I don't mean them, the representatives that fled to break quorum, but like the party itself. Yeah. It's a lot of like performative activism and telling us like, oh, well, we're Trump and Abbott are afraid of us. And it's like, why? Because you're running up votes in urban districts? Like that's not a strategy.
I assure you they are not.
They do not. And this isn't to promote Trump.
In fact, I think they would very much love for you to believe that they are scared of you.
Yes.
Because that is the ideal place. They want you to be looking with your back to them, toward your audience, thumping your chest, saying we are on the right side of history, and remain as politically impotent as possible. Yeah. And that is what they would love the most.
Yeah. Especially when they only show up when cameras are available, when there's a stage or a microphone available to them. And, someone asked me, how do you strike fear in Republicans? And I think it's the easiest thing. You show up and you knock on their neighbors' doors.
You win.
You win. You knock on their neighbors' doors and you convert their neighbors.
Yeah.
You start getting their neighborhood to talk about you. That will strike fear in Republican elected officials. And the Democrats have abandoned, in my opinion, I'm going to say this very candidly, they have abandoned rural America. They have given up.
I don't think that's even
that
is ground truth real. That is academic real. They
have just given up on it.
Yeah.
And then I tell people in the party, I'm like, part of our strategy, if we win the primary, is we want to get out and be evangelicals or even, whatever the term is, for other Democrats running in competitive House races.
Yeah.
Or not even House races, but like school boards.
No, I think you should stick with evangelize, because that's another thing. You should not be worried about evangelicals. Like, you should be speaking to evangelicals, because there are evangelicals who believe in abortion.
And I joke about this, but like, we should take a page from the Mormons. We should have missionaries that are just out every single day knocking on people's doors and listening to them and conveying our message and making them feel like they're a part of the process. And the Democrats right now, they just don't do it. They don't do it. They knock on Democrat doors.
Yeah.
Which to me, like, it's not hard to get liberals to vote against Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Like, or John Cornyn or Ken Paxton.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty easy with
that's
Paxton.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're talking to yourselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
We need to get independents. We need to get Democrats that didn't show up. We need to get like moderate Republicans that feel disenfranchised by Trump because, they're not a part of the party. We need to go up and talk to them.
Yeah.
And like build that common ground. And the common ground doesn't have to be policy. It can be like, Whataburger is better than In-N-Out. Yeah. It can be whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Like, just whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I hear it from people in the party here. They're like, whoa, that's not realistic. And I'm like, it's not realistic because you don't want to do it. Because it makes you feel uncomfortable. And, And I think that it
would cost money. It would cost money, and it would require volunteers, and it would require volunteers that want to go and possibly have a conversation that would be ugly or bad. This is your update, brought to you by TakePoliticsSeriously.com. Get 2 bonus episodes each and every week when you head on over to TakePoliticsSeriously.com. Guys, I'll tell you what, there was news yesterday that broke that when the one big beautiful bill was passed, one of the campaign promises that was made by Donald Trump and was echoed eventually by Kamala Harris was that there would be no tax on tips. So the question was, what's a tip and who gets to say that they are tipped? It's a $25,000 max tax, not deduction, whatever. Like, that is tax-free money. You can get up to $25,000 of it. And yesterday, Monday, as I'm recording this on Tuesday, news broke that one of the jobs is digital content creator. Ooh. So I don't know how much of my living can be described as a tip. I'm going to have to do a little research on that. But just know that whatever version of it exists, expect to see more content from it. Because I would like tax-free money, and I may or may not now be a single issue voter. Expand the content creator tax credit. I'm going to start doing lobbyist ads. Gong. I'll do it in both versions. Like, President Trump works hard for hardworking Americans. Hardworking Americans like OnlyFans models and political streamers. That's why we need to preserve and expand the content creator tax credit. Anyway, support me. TakePoliticsSeriously.com. Let's take a look at some ads. She's got a great ad. Here, we're going to go 3 different Yes on 50 ads. Of course, Proposition 50 in California is their ability to eliminate the independent board that draws their districts. So Gavin Newsom can gerrymander 5 new Democratic seats to counter the fact that Republican gerrymandered 5 Republican seats. Here is our first version of it. And unsurprisingly, it's Gavin. Gavin's going to put himself at the center of this. Here we go. The Gavin ad for Yes on 50.
We cannot unilaterally disarm. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country. We're giving the power to the people. On November 4th, you have the power to stand up to Trump. You have the power to declare that you support a system that is not rigged. We're counting on all of you on November 4th and stand up for our democracy. Thank you all very, very much.
Okay, since so much of this is literally just Gavin Newsom trying to run for president, that makes sense for all the Gavin heads out there. Now, this one's for the super concerned liberals, aka San Francisco and LA.
Following the dictator's playbook, Donald Trump has unleashed a blitzkrieg, arresting people without warrants, targeting the free press, attacking universities. Now he's coming directly for our democracy with a scheme to rig the next election. You have the power to stop him. Prop 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, puts our elections back on a level playing field by putting power in the hands of the people. Save democracy in all 50 states. Yes, on 50.
All right, makes sense. The way this is going to work in an off-year election that doesn't have a tremendous amount of runway between now and election day is you got to take your base, you got to blow them out as much as you possibly can. But the only way you lose is if independents believe that this is a bad idea. And so this final ad is for them. Let's play.
Why do independent election experts support Prop 50? It's simple. Donald Trump's scheme to rig the next election is an emergency for our democracy. Prop 50 will put the election back on a level playing field by giving the people the power to approve emergency maps to counter Trump's power grab. And Prop 50 is temporary, reaffirming California's commitment to independent, nonpartisan redistricting for the long term. For a fair election in all 50 states, vote yes on 50.
So what do these ads say to me? Well, the first one is that Gavin Newsom is an egomaniac. The second one is that there is an understanding. The only way that this happens is if you blow out votes in San Francisco and LA. That's how Gavin's recall vote was won. They understand the playbook here. This is not, their first rodeo. They understand how to do it. Now, they had a longer time frame on Gavin's recall vote. This is very, very short. So they got a message, almost the idea that this is even happening as much as they need to message why people need to leave their house and vote. But that third ad tells me that they know that they've got a problem with the polling on don't take away the redistricting board, because that's what this does. Like, they can say everything else they want. Oh, they're leveling the playing field. They're putting the power back to the people. The reality of what they need to do mechanically is to sideline the independent board. Now, they say that this is temporary. I don't believe it. I don't believe that it's temporary. I don't believe that once you take that board out, it ever comes back at all whatsoever. I don't think that the reason why is this. Why would a bunch of people whose jobs depend on their districts that gave up control over that, why would they ever give up control again if they could take it back? They're dreaming on taking it back. They love taking it back. But they know it's a problem. That's why they're releasing that ad. Now, will it be a real problem? I don't know. Democratic Representative Jerry Nadler, 78, announced that he is retiring at the end of his current term. He will not seek re-election. You might remember Jerry Nadler as being one of the chief figures in Donald Trump's impeachment in his first term. He also won a stiff primary between himself and Carolyn Maloney to remain one of Manhattan's congressmen. But he said right now it is time to pass the torch. This comes after 33 years of representing Manhattan and Brooklyn. That also concludes 50 years of public service continuously. Man has not held a job outside of government. the head Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, but stepped aside after a challenge from Jamie Raskin. Nadler is backing State Representative Michael Lasher, his former aide, as his successor. This also comes after Joni Ernst of Iowa announced that she will not be running in this upcoming midterm. You know, she was facing a possibility of a stiff primary. She did not have a good time during the Donald Trump nomination fight. It was revealed that she was in a relationship with somebody from the Pentagon. And then she had a bad moment at a town hall. So she is out. I would still believe that Iowa is probably lean Republican. And then, of course, obviously, Jerry Nadler's seat will die in the hands of Democrats. Finally, House Rules Chair Virginia Foxx said on Tuesday that Republicans will not use her panel to block Representative Thomas Massey's discharge petition on the Epstein files. GOP leaders have been hesitant to act against Massey, who is pushing for a bipartisan measure to force the Justice Department to release the full Epstein files. Speaker Mike Johnson is set to meet with Epstein victims on the same day, but downplayed Massey's effort, saying Republicans support maximum disclosure, but must protect victims' privacy. Massey's petition is expected to create friction within the party as he presses a floor vote. He is co-sponsoring this with Ro Khanna, a Democrat. Some of the buzz coming out after everybody came back to school today in the House was that, you know, they would sign on to it, but they believe that the Department of Justice is going to release enough that it's not going to be an issue. So we'll see. Without a doubt, though, the discharge petition is a real loaded gun these days. You know, in an era of stronger leadership, that used to not be a thing. Not so these days. Not so. And that is your update. TakePoliticsSeriously.com, where you need to go if you want to get 2 bonus episodes of the show. And now, let's get back to Dillon. You mentioned that you saw that you lost faith in some of the apparatus of the Texas Democrats, specifically when you thought about it in contrast with some of the issues that matter the most to you. Can you give me an example?
Like from my experience, what happened to me?
Your experience, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a bunch of them. I showed up at a town hall that was to protest. There was like a town hall event that was being hosted. I think James Tellerico, Gina Hinojosa, Congressman Doggett were putting it on, and it was to have like a town hall and then go and protest at the Capitol about vouchers, about the school choice program, all that. I am staunchly against taking public school funds and using them for private school tuition. Yeah. I think that is inherently like, we can get into that, but I went to support it. And I went to the overflow that was happening at the First Baptist Church, and I sat in the front pew and I was like, I'm here for the support. And a couple individuals approached me and they were like, oh, are you an educator? Because I didn't have my kids. I was just by myself.
You kind of have a bit of a teacher vibe to you.
I guess maybe. Yeah. And I said, no, but I have kids, I have children, and I'm concerned about this. And they're like, oh, you're just a concerned parent. And
they made the scare quotes?
They made the air quote. They did this to me. And I was like, and then they told me that maybe I should, because I was sitting in the front pew. They asked if I should sit in the back. Yeah. And I was like, wow. Like, and these aren't elected officials. So this isn't representative of Tellerico or Doggett or anybody like that. But the crowd there, the members of the party just made me feel like shit. And then I went to an open seat town hall in Chip Roy's district that Kassar held. And I was kind of pumped. I was like, great, Kassar's like hosting an empty seat town hall. I'll show up. Yeah. Dressed like this in a shirt and jeans and cowboy boots. This is Dripping Springs. Yeah. Right.
For those of you who are not familiar with the Austin metro area, Dripping Springs is over the county line from Travis County, which is the super liberal county, but still it's people who built houses it's like more of a swing district, but you are getting into rural conservative.
This was at a stockade or stockyard community center. There's like cattle, 50 yards away from us. And I had 3 separate groups of individuals approach me. One told me I looked like I didn't belong.
Yeah.
One accused me of being with Chip Roy's office. And then another asked me if I was with Chip Roy's office and said something to the extent of they waved their hand at me. We're like, well, you just look like a Republican.
Do you feel like you were racially profiled?
Well, I don't know if that's the case, but maybe
I mean, look, white guy, glasses.
Everyone there though was all white though. And it was this is the craziest thing is just because I'm wearing cowboy boot, I'm not dressed any different than other people.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't see that I have tattoos. I have no idea, but they just make it so I wanted to run out of the room.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be here. Even to zoom back out when I was at the First Methodist Church one for the school vouchers, there was a protest that I was a rally at the Capitol that I was planning to go to.
Yeah.
After that.
But it was a hostile situation.
But I was after everybody spoke and Doggett was there and Tellerica was there and Gina was there and everyone was I felt really good about them. But the crowd, I was these people just
When did you first think about running? About being
So it was about that time. And so I wanted to run against Chip Roy.
Okay.
I wanted to run in a Republican district. I wanted to show, prove my salt.
Gotcha.
And I was instead of hand wringing from the sidelines, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to raise some money.
So this was, I can't think of it offhand, but that is a R plus what?
27, 26. And I was
so in the political shorthand for folks listening, 15, whatever it is, plus 15 is about the outer edge of what people might think to be competitive. If it is above 15, then you're really it would be a victory to get it within 15. If you run a really good campaign. So you were just looking to do that. You were looking to just kind of make them spend money, make them sweat a
Chip
little
spend
bit.
money, fight him in public. And I get it now he's going to run for AG. But at the time I was thinking to myself, I'll show the party that I can show up.
Yeah.
We'll organize some folks. It'll be fun. I'll teach my children a civics lesson. And then I can have it on my resume.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was this will be great, but we're going to put pressure on them.
Yeah.
We're going to force the Republicans to spend money in this district.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a good time doing it. And
all right. So you want to do that. That's your thing. Who's your first call?
So I ended up getting on the phone with a county chair in his district, one of the county chairs. And they told me that they preferred more diverse candidates.
The what?
The county chair for the Democratic Party and one of the county chairs down there told me that they wanted more diverse candidates.
So I guess that district, which is even before this map, was very gerrymandered and weird. It tails all the way up to used to be my neighborhood. And it goes all the way down south.
Goes to San Antonio. And then all west past Kerrville.
Yeah. So which by the way, for folks who remember the flooding, that is in that district. So it's majority rural, but it takes a little bit of the liberal neighborhoods out of those very liberal areas. And instead of looking for a Democratic candidate that looked more like the majority of the voters in that district, they wanted a more diverse candidate that could speak to the liberal fringe areas of that district.
It wasn't even that to me. I didn't even think of it in that much depth. It was 45 seconds on the phone call.
It was just sorry, but
it was just straight away.
You, but no thanks.
They've never even seen me. I'm on the phone with them.
Really?
And they're just we prefer more diverse candidates. And we prefer with candidates that are aligned more progressively. I haven't had an opportunity
to even talk to them.
To even have a meaningful conversation.
Which I guess that means that they just had somebody in mind already.
I have no idea what they were thinking. And
well, that's also not their job. Their job is not to pick the candidates. Their job is to tell everybody that wants to run, here's how you run, file these forms, blah, blah, blah.
I just kept calling everybody. And I kept emailing various districts, various county chairs. And overwhelmingly, it was don't worry about it. We got it. Don't worry about it. We've got it.
Trust us.
Trust us.
We're the Texas Democrats.
Trust me, bro.
You can't argue with results.
And I was so mad because I was what is happening here? So then I was well, what if we run? I live in Austin. I live in Congressman Doggett's district.
Yep.
He's 78, turning 79. Like there's an appetite for this. Why don't we run against him? So I started calling around to like some like local political operatives, some consultants. No one would pick me up.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll pay you money. Like,
well, yeah,
we'll pay you. Nope. Not going to do it because we'll get blacklisted from the party.
They will
end their career is the words that were used.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you have to be prepared. They're going to try to ruin your career.
Really?
Yeah. That was I have been told that by 10 plus people.
Yeah.
That
thanks for the views, guys. Thanks for the views that are watching this, trying to find things to ruin your career.
Yeah. No, I mean, fuck them. Like I say that very like unapologetically because like this idea that I think we need to make one thing very clear in the left. The Republicans had primaries. Like they had primaries. Donald Trump ran in a primary. He ran against Ted Cruz, Chris Christie, Marco Rubio.
A lot of money.
Nikki Haley.
Against Fox News.
Against Fox News. Against the Murdochs.
Yep.
The Wall Street Journal. He ran against
the Kochs, Americans for Prosperity.
Yeah, all of them. Governor DeSantis.
Yep.
They had that process. We cannot say the same on our side of the aisle. We have not had a fair primary since 2008. Arguably.
Yeah. I mean,
I get it. The last year was
I wouldn't blame the party for 16 per se. Well, I guess I would. I mean, the problem is that I think with the Democratic Party, and you see it at all levels, is that there is just no separation between the party and the vendors. Like the party seems like their number one job is to just keep plugging the same vendors and donors into positions to do what they want and not be what they should be, which is as neutral as they can be. Obviously, when you have long-term incumbents, they're going to have more sway than other people. But it's like to just say like, all right, we're the referee.
Oh yeah,
here we go. 16 was interesting because, you know, Obama tells Biden not to run, which is what happened. I don't care what Biden said.
Yeah.
That's what everybody else believes and what everybody else says off the record. Because all the Obama people are going to back Hillary, and that's just the fact of life. And then Bernie wants Warren to run. She won't because she doesn't want to make an enemy for life out of the Clintons and the Obamas. And so Bernie runs. He's supposed to be, which when you look at it, you're like, okay, cool. This is a tomato can for Hillary to stomp so she can be the inevitable person. Instead, she makes a generational folk hero out of Bernie Sanders, like she made a 2-term president out of Barack Obama, and then makes another star out of a reality television show because Hillary Clinton is the greatest star maker in American politics. But the Democratic Party is stale, and the Republican Party was stale. And that's the one thing that Trump did was like one of the best things that Donald Trump did for that party was run a generation of hacks out of that party. Like people that couldn't adjust, that couldn't find a new coalition, that couldn't figure out how to win beyond the way that they had won when Reagan was in office, that didn't want to go where the voters were. And now they don't have jobs. And everybody can talk about, I mean, if you only focus on just the election side of it, the people that could adjust did. The people that couldn't adjust left.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge benefit because right now there are a whole generation of Republican operatives that are comfortable talking to union members or talking to inner city voters or talking to Latino voters on a level that none of the old Bush operatives, the Reagan operatives were ever going to be comfortable doing.
Yeah.
None of the moral majority operatives were ever going to think. They were going to look at all those voters and say, they don't vote for us. Why are we even going to do anything?
Yeah.
Let alone know how to talk to them.
And here, you know, on the Democratic side of the aisle, it's like I've been told that my career is going to get ruined, that they're going to ruin my life. They're going to destroy my family. They're going to do all these things, all this talking. And it gets really frustrating because it's like, it's a primary.
Yeah.
It's a primary.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Like calm down. And it's a primary in the safest Democratic district in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Like everyone needs to take a breath. I've been told that I'm going to give like a voice to Republicans for doing this. That like, and there's just all this like, it's so insidious. And I think to your point about like how Republicans adjusted and they were able to, I think they just don't care. Like the Republicans, for better or worse, they just don't give a shit what other people think. And so they go and talk to them and they organize around it.
I mean, it took, it was an ugly period for them where you had a bunch of people that are like, what are you doing? You're wasting time. These are low propensity voters. You're changing the coalition, not for the better. This isn't how we win. And then, Republicans, or at least the Trump side of it, was like, well, like we were doing all this winning with Mitt Romney and John McCain. Like that didn't seem to go great. So let's try things. Let's try new things. The Democratic Party right now
they're stale.
Not only are they stale, but I wonder, there's a lot of fundraising problems right now. Nobody's raising money in the way that they used to raise money. Like there are some real kind of like, before, all the liberals want to talk about, all Democrats want to talk about is like, okay, well, where are you ideologically? And everybody gets pinholed into a very specific ideological bucket. And like, either you are pure or you are impure. And that is that. And look, when you want to motivate certain elements of the electorate, I totally get it. But if you can't raise money and you can't talk to independent voters, it doesn't matter how chapter and verse you are on the issue of the day and whether or not you are on top of it. The goal is to win. The goal is to get more people into your booth to hit the button than the other guy. And I don't know. I think part of the reason why I wanted to have you on is because I do think that strong primaries are a great thing. They're a great thing, even just to like, if you even look at it from Greg Kaser's perspective, like, it'll be great if you got a little run here and people were talking about you and you see a couple polls that, put you in striking distance, because it would just make them think.
It'll make them show up.
Work.
It'll make them
show
work.
up.
Yeah, it makes them work.
That's good. That's good to do.
Yeah, and it helps to understand where where your constituents live and what they value. And like one thing that we always say on our camp is like, doesn't matter if you're DSA or a moderate or recovering Republican, like we'll take you in. Because the goal right now is harm reduction. And the goal right now is just to win, harm reduction. We can talk about progressive policies and ideas and expanding healthcare and protecting reproductive rights, but all of it is fruitless unless we actually win back seats. And the only way we're going to win back seats is by getting out of our comfort zone and talking to independents, talking to Republicans, talking to people that didn't vote for us, getting out the vote, actually showing up for people, actually knocking on their doors. And right now, so many on the Democratic side, it's just like, no. We're going to keep doing things the way we've been doing them. And it makes like zero sense to me.
What is your number one issue?
Reproductive rights. My daughter.
Reproductive rights.
Yeah, my daughter is because I look at her and I just can't help but think like, do I stay living in Texas? Yeah. I don't want, like, Texas is my home. Yeah. But I worry about her future. And I worry about the precedent that we're setting that like, if she is assaulted by somebody, like when she gets older and I drive her to the airport to fly out of state to receive the care that she needs, then neighbors now can sue me. And like, what kind of a society, like this goes back to me saying like, I value community and I think we're better as a community. And like, what kind of example are we setting by allowing our neighbors to act as vigilantes or bounty hunters because my daughter was assaulted? Yeah. And like, how does that affect her long-term? And so like, if someone's not willing to die for her, I am. Yeah. Do you think, I mean, I already gave my whole spiel about it, but do you think that the Democratic Party or even the Democratic Party of Texas has taken that issue seriously enough? I think they've tried to. I think there's some like good people that really try to work on it. I think the Democratic Party nationally is lacking leadership. And I think that's safe to say. And I think that there's a lot of infighting. And I think that there are various factions that exist within the Democratic Party. And some of them don't vote. Right. Yeah. And so they pull politicians, it's primaries are the issue, right? Like the fringe elements of your party pull you in one direction, but then those people that vote in the primary, they don't all show up for the general. Yeah. Right. And so you get pulled to this certain direction and then those people don't show up. And then you've alienated a good swath of the general electorate. And that general electorate doesn't want to show up for you because you've had a campaign on, things that they don't agree with. It is something that I wonder. We've had this era where all politics is national, and that means that in situations like the Texas Democrats,
which for me, I look back in history and it's like, hey, there ain't nothing in the rule book that says that the Democratic senator from Texas can't be that doesn't have to have the same position on guns as somebody else. Like, and I'm not here to put that.
Oh,
on you,
no. I think
like,
you're right though.
But it's like you should be able to have some difference as long as everybody's coming together on the issues that matter most to the party. And like right now, you got a fringe element, electorally speaking, in Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, that are largely college educated people that have views to the left of the median voter, even the median Democratic voter in Texas. And it's like, well, all right, that's a fun way to never play statewide. It's a fun way to never,
So on that note, I mean, that takes it back to like what I said earlier, where it's like, it's hard to be a Democrat because if you don't check every box, right, all of a sudden,
that's that. Every time that I've talked to a Democratic operative in Texas and I've asked them, why don't you just have a Wilford Brimley who believes in abortion? Why is that not the person that you're running? It's always, good Lord, if we could get them through a primary, but they will not survive a primary here.
There are districts where we need Hank Hill.
Yes.
Right. Like we need Hank Hill, that guy that can speak to his neighbors, that gets along with them. He may not agree with you on everything.
Beto on paper was close until he kept opening his mouth and saying things that were not great. And I think it lost him a winnable race. I thought, especially if you look at how that came out, I think that Beto underperformed where he could have. I think he could have beat Ted Cruz in that race, especially considering the headwinds. And then his presidential run was such a disaster. He ruined any future electoral chances here in Texas with when he was already losing. He was on the way out of that race to scream and yell about banning AR-15s. It's like, well, all right, sayonara, buddy.
It's such a difficult needle to thread, I think, because if it goes back to this premise, because if you have someone that believes in owning firearms, right? Even if they agree with like regulating them in some degree, but they also agree on abortion, a lot of Democrats will still eat them alive and say, oh, well, you believe in school shootings. Yeah. And it's like, no, like that the person grew up duck hunting or deer hunting, and they've like, that's just their way of life. And they'll agree with you that there should be background checks and like maybe everyone has to take a class or safety or whatever, or red flag laws. But all too often, and I've experienced it, is if you don't check every single box, then it's like, and the Republicans ran on this, I think, successfully, and they called us NPCs, right? Yeah. We were it was this NPC like meme era of Democrats. And it's like, whatever that talking point is for that day, if you don't fall in line with it, the left, everyone on the left will eat you alive. Yeah. Leftists are going to eat you alive. And then if you fall into the leftist camp, moderates are going to eat you alive. And then it's like, you're just never quite good enough. Yeah. No, and that's so problematic.
Well, it's not great if you want to win elections.
No.
It's not ideal.
And I think here in Austin, we need representatives that, again, like I'm not going to paint myself as a moderate or a progressive or liberal or DSA or whatever it is, because I think, again, the goal is harm reduction. The goal is to win. Yeah. And the goal is to help down ballot races win. And there's no reason that the highest
What do you mean by help down ballot races?
So the highest elected Democratic official in Central Texas, in my opinion, should be knocking on doors. Yeah. They should be doing constituent work, and then they should also be doing work for neighboring candidates. And they should be a good ambassador for those neighboring candidates. Because what ends up happening is when you run against John Carter or Michael McCall or Chip Roy, they just point the finger at Austin and they say, look at the People's Republic of Austin. Yeah. Look, that's what you want. Right. And then it scares Republicans that have never been here. Sure. Right. And they've never been here, and they see, some outdated video clip from 2019 of a fire underneath a bridge or whatever it may be. And I think that we need representatives that can take that away from them, that can take that narrative away, and
that can go speak in those other districts.
They can go speak in those other districts, and that will show up in those other districts, that will knock on doors for people. And I'm talking about like school board seats, city council seats, mayoral candidates, because like we need to start planting trees. And the best time to have planted a tree was 30 years ago. The next best time is right now. Yeah. And as much as I would love for Austin to be this like wonderful progressive city where everyone moves in a progressive direction, again, the goal is to win. And
that's not the job of the position that you're running for now, right? You're not looking to be the mayor. You're not on the city council. That's where you would want those kinds of policies, if that was your perspective, to be enacted. Yeah. Your job is to be a representative in the United States Congress that comes with a certain level of, name recognition, that comes with a certain level of door opening.
It's just that work that I think that like the Democrats haven't done. And I think that there is a world in which we can change. For instance, I hate this notion that I hear all the time of, we're going to turn Texas blue. We're going to flip it blue. This is the year. But it's always this top-down approach where we throw up a celebrity candidate. We're throwing up Allred. We're throwing up Beto. We're throwing up like big names, and then we're ramming them down everybody's throat. Yeah. And it's like, no. We should be doing this from the bottom up. Yeah. We should be getting people elected in Kerrville. Yeah. We should be getting people elected in Llano, in Georgetown. Yeah. Go out to Giddings. And then start letting them be those evangelicals for us, right? Yeah. Those evangelists for us. And then start shifting the tides there. Because again, I think the way to scare Republicans is to make them sweat their seats. Sure. Right? Like that is the way to scare them. Chanting from a bullhorn that you believe in whatever, or you're at a rally and you're like, they don't give a shit about that. They're drinking their beers and champagne at the Driscoll and having a great time.
Yeah. Nothing matters in politics unless it comes with the threat of a win or a loss. Yeah. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. It's part of the reason why I love it from an analysis perspective, is that like, you can get in all these high-minded arguments about like, okay, well, this leads to that. And again, we get into the blueprint obsession, but politics is simple. Set day, booth. Yep. Your button, their button. Let's go. Yep. Like that is something. Now, here's going to be my final question for you. You mentioned that you have heard from people that this is going to be rough. You have hired a team. You are now officially running.
We are officially running.
People can go to your website. They can support. They can donate. How prepared are you for this to get ugly? How ready for it are you?
I'm going to make this as clear. Should I speak to the camera?
Yeah, you can speak. Yeah.
I'll make this as clear as possible. Like my daughter's life is on the line. And if I have to do whatever is necessary to protect her rights, I'm going to do it. And I don't think anyone understands the willingness and the grit that I have and the lack of that I get. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, unless we win, unless we actually fight, none of it matters. And I will die for my daughter. I will fight tooth and nail for every bit of it. For anything, for however we can win as Democrats, and whatever that situation looks like, I am prepared for. Again, I'm also not a politician, right? Yeah. So I don't have a city council seat that I have to protect. I don't have a House seat that I have to protect. This isn't my career. Yeah. I'm only doing this because they failed at their jobs. Yeah. You're willing, all right, if you were to do you have a sense of what you're going to get hit with? If you were to take a guess? Yeah, I'm inexperienced. I'm an alcoholic. Former, I canvassed for George Bush. Yeah. They're going to say I'm a moderate, or they're going to say I'm not progressive enough, or I don't have any experience. One thing for instance, one thing that I think is we talk a lot about like labor organizing. Yeah. On the left. Artificial intelligence is going to disrupt all of that. Yeah. And no one's talking about it. Yeah. I work adjacent to AI teams. Mm-hmm. I know these people. I did research in AI when I was in school. We are screwed if we don't do something about it. Because at the end of the day, robots don't need water breaks. No. AI agents don't take a break. As long as we're feeding them electricity, they keep running. Yeah. And how does that look like? How do we deploy these models safely into the public? How do we regulate? And this isn't talking about like stifling innovation, but like when there's multiple large companies that are deploying large language models at scale. Yeah. How do those large language models, or how do those agents end up talking to each other? Do they end up having access to power grids? Do they shut down power grids inadvertently? Like how do they hit, like we don't know why or how they hallucinate. What do those hallucinations look like? How do we keep those in check? What are the fail safes for those? What are the edge cases of if you are a startup and you have a company that is filing patents for business owners, and then the patent office ends up deploying its own agent that intakes those patents, and those two agents speak to each other, do they go rogue?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of use cases. There's a bunch of it exists, like Tay Tweets, which was a chatbot that Microsoft released.
That was old, right?
It went bananas.
Yeah.
When Bing partnered with OpenAI and Bing released their chatbot, they had a New York Times tech reporter that was, testing it. And it was telling the reporter to leave its wife.
That one.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And it was
I think that particular, I largely understand. I sympathize with your overall point. With that particular story, I think it almost said more about that guy's marriage than it said about the underlying tech.
But that's the thing is we're going to start having these situations where it's and it's not just labor organizing, but it's social discourse, labor markets in general. Do we end up in a position where we're at 20% unemployment and that's just normal? Because white collar and blue collar jobs have been eliminated. The social discourse is something that really worries me because, VO3 from Gemini and Google is producing incredibly good videos, and that's only going to get better. And then you couple that with nefarious actors and the monetization of these things and how social media companies are incentivized for you to engage with it. And so an engagement is an engagement. It doesn't matter if you like something or you hate something. But statistically speaking, if you don't like something, you're more likely to engage with it. Right?
Yeah.
So if it makes you angry, you're going to engage with that thing. And so there's going to be more of these videos that come out, more chatbots that come out. They're going to start talking to you. They're going to make you.
They already are.
They are. And it's going to get better and better and better and better and better. While those get better, our society gets worse. And there's no one talking about it. From a legislative standpoint, no one is bringing this up.
Yeah, I would say it's an extraordinary time, and one that I think we should be very, very wary. Well, not wary. We should be aware. And I do think that right now we're just so early in this phase that a rush to assumption on where the political fault lines are, I think is going to be foolhardy. But my opinion is that AI will be a focal point far more than we can consider of it now.
Oh yeah.
In the next election and certainly the election after that. I think it's going to be a huge, huge, huge focal point. And that it's going to be because the AI companies are spinning up massive PACs now because they do not want to, they were scared by what happened in California with the state level model law, the model training law that got vetoed by Newsom at the 11th hour. But there's a reason why they tried to put the thing in the one big beautiful bill about banning state level stuff. People just need to be aware because it's going to affect people. I don't know if we know how it's going to affect people.
I don't think we have any idea.
Like that. Yeah. What you suggested is certainly one scenario where all of a sudden we could just see a gigantic unemployment thing. The stuff that's coming out now on unemployment with AI, where it's oh, look, all these entry level positions aren't being hired for when ChatGPT starts. It's yeah, but that was also my wife is in tech.
Overhired.
It was tech winter. Let's wait until wait until the rates drop and the money. If the money comes back like it normally does in a VC cycle, and people still aren't hiring in those positions, then I'm okay, well then that's more of a thing than what it is now.
My biggest concern is how these models interact with each other in the public. And then also just the social discourse around it. Because I think it'll funnel people more and more into these. We already exist in information silos, right? Your algorithm is going to push certain content to you if you're on the right or you're on the left. But now you're going to see it more and more, right?
I actually think it might be the opposite.
You think so?
Yeah. But for this reason, we're going to get out of a model that is engagement and algorithm focused. And it is going to be hyper tailored to you. Right? You and your friends directly. It will give you exactly what you want, not necessarily what the site thinks you want based on what your friends are doing or what is now increasingly more top down, what you demographically are supposed to like, or in TikTok's
Oh
perspective.
yeah, like so it's not a recommendation system. It's more so like it knows who you. And that also begs the question of like how well are these things social engineering us, and then how is that data then being sold off to like local municipalities, federal authorities?
That's a
Right.
huge question. Is like the one thing that I would say is a possible positive is that we have yet to get into a position where ad viability is the number one way that these companies are making money. Like if anything, we've gone the opposite direction where it's like all the top models are like, here's your $300 and up per month subscription compared to Google, Facebook, and all the social networks that came afterward, where it was like, awesome, stay on here for as long as possible so we can keep giving you an ad for Dollar Shave Club. Now it's like, no, we want you to plan in your budget to pay money, and we will give you a product that is there. But that means that you are doing less and less of what these social networks have had to do, which is we're less and less affecting each other's algorithm. Now it's just like, you are 41 years old and have one child. That means you are getting a hair loss ad. Like that's it. And I'm like, I'm not losing my hair. We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Soft dick, maybe a hard dick pill. Would you like that? Like that's all that exists is just this. And then the content that is specifically siloed for that in a world where you are actually just saying like, oh, I don't know. Like, can I look up all the plots of Fantastic Four movies? Like now you are weirdly, we might wind up moving closer together because in the dark, we all kind of want to know different things.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll see. I don't know exactly what the policy prescription is.
Yeah. So that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't know it. Like I will openly say, like, I don't know how to put these guardrails in place, but I think that we should be openly having the discussion of like, how do we on it. Like,
yeah. And I think that you would be foolhardy in 1995 to keep your eyes closed about the internet.
Yep.
And that's, I think, where we're at right now. Like we're at like 95, 96 when it comes to the internet, which means there's going to be a little bust because a lot of people that put a ton of money into stuff that had really dumb ideas are going to fail. And that'll be your pets.com kind of 1.0 bubble. And then you're going to see everybody learn those lessons and buy up those data centers and are going to like explode.
I mean, that's another issue is like the data centers are like an environmental issue because they're sucking up water from local municipalities.
That's where I think the political fight is right now.
There will be like very real ramifications for like housing developments, people's water usage, people's water rights. Do we have to start desalinating water for public use?
Mm-hmm.
How much does that cost? Does our utilities go up? They're talking about like, OpenAI and Microsoft, a bunch of companies are going to build nuclear power plants just to power data centers.
Yep.
Why are we not allowing those power plants to tie into the local grid to, reduce our...
I think to me, the fight is going to be on the environmental side because I think the environmental lobby has been without a new fight for a while. I think that this is going to be one that they will see as particularly worthwhile. And I do think that there's room if we're in a pro energy phase, which I think right now we are, whether or not, you are thrilled about it. We have an administration that is extraordinarily pro energy. Then we should be having those conversations of like, wait a minute, like why?
I mean, for instance, in Taylor right now in Williamson County, Samsung's building I can't remember how large of a chip manufacturing facility it is to make silicon chips.
For Tesla.
Yeah. So it's that same facility. Well, they've tapped out all the local water there.
Yeah.
And they've actually had the city of Taylor as part of the negotiation to bring Samsung out there was to give them these water rights.
Yeah.
And as a result, Taylor has stopped in many cases housing developments.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the water. And then they built a pipeline from Rockdale about 30 minutes east to pipe water to Samsung.
Yeah.
Not even to Taylor, but just to Samsung.
Yeah.
And so that becomes an issue in itself of like, do local municipalities start running out of, do we literally run out of water?
Yeah.
And like, how is that being addressed?
And these are huge things. And there deserves a public advocate for it. I'm glad that you have your eye on it, because I do think that these are very, very pressing issues. And
They're issues that don't get talked a lot about, I think, because
they're complicated. And that's the other thing, is that I think it is resistant to our kind of current bumper sticker.
There's no sexy response to it, right? There's no like.
Yeah, because like on one hand, it's like, okay, all right, well, so yeah, it's pumping in a lot of water, but theoretically, it should be good jobs. Those are high paying jobs if you're working at a chip fab, like, and it could be something that a class of worker that had not, had really been left behind now has a chance to do it. So you could be feeding families off stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but we want water.
Yeah, we want water. And it's
we
good for
like water.
and it's one of these things too. It's like, it's good for national security to bring silicon chip manufacturing back here to reshore it. But again, I don't have the answer, but like, I think we should be publicly.
It should be on this. Yeah.
We should be figuring it out.
All right. Where can people go find you if they would like to support your campaign?
So you can go to DillonForCongress.com. That's DILLON. I'm located here in Austin, Texas. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm on all the normal kind of social media sites. Reach out. We'd love to talk to anybody. And we would love your support. If you want to win and you want to actually get boots on the ground and people to actually flip seats and have the highest elected official in Central Texas speak for other Democrats and help other Democrats win and build a coalition in Texas, then come join us.
There we go. Dillon, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
And that'll wrap it up for us today. Politics, written and hosted by me, Justin Robert Young, for Dog and Pony Show audio in Austin, Texas. If you would like to email the program, it is theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Find, follow, and share video clips of the show. On TikTok, it is Justin R. Young. On Twitter, it is Justin R. Young. And you can find the entire episode on YouTube. Politics. If you'd like to tip me, tip me. PayPal.me/payjury, PAYJURY. Venmo is Justin-Young-20. Cash App is PX3Cash. And you can send me anything you'd like in the mail. Post Office Box 153184, Austin, Texas 78715. Again, that is Post Office Box 153184, Austin, Texas 78715. The only way you get our bonus content is takepoliticsseriously.com. Go ahead and sign up, man. It is cheap. A cheapy peepy experience. If you want 2 bonus episodes each and every week, I even did one on Labor Day because I love you. Takepoliticsseriously.com. That is $12 a month. It's $3 a week. Literally price of a cup of coffee. You want to buy me a cup of coffee, you get 2 bonus episodes. But it is only at our foundational tier that you get your name read on this program. Up to and including Sonny Black, L3PO, Peepaw, Scott, Middle-Aged Mike, Tom, Sarah, Jeannie, Jeremy, Pro Idiot, Chiller Tomatoes, Oh Yeah, It's Adam, Neil, AB Puppy, Dr. Whiskey, Michael, Fat Tony's PJs from New York, Will, The Borge B, Matthew, Matt, Andrew, Edwin, Sam, Andrew, Phil, Edison, Devon, Paul, A Dog Named Truckers, Gloria, Jerry, Trucker, John, Berkeley, Steven, and Zombie Doc. If you want your name read on the show, one place to do it. TakePoliticsSeriously.com. I don't know who's on the show Friday. It'll be someone, though. I've been lazy this weekend, but I have a few ideas. Join me, won't you? Or if you're signed up, then you're going to get a bonus episode on Thursday. It's a good time. Until next time, this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young, saying some shows talk about politics. Others talk about politics and still more discuss politics. But this is the only show that dares discuss. Three.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Dog and Pony Show audio.